Okay, we're in 3ds Max. We're going to take a look at doing a quick sky dome. Now, the best thing to do is really to go in and just go into your environment and place an environment or create an HDRI. But if you want to do an old-fashioned sky dome, then this is the way to do it. So the first thing is we're going to just make a large sphere, and you'd make this as large or larger to encompass whatever sort of scene that you have. So when we make this, we're going to be putting our camera on the inside of it. And to do that, I'm going to go into my modifier tab, and you can go and just put a normal on or invert your normals in your settings. And now your materials are on the inside. So if we go inside, we can see the dome. Now right now I don't have a ground plane or anything, so it's really hard to orient yourself. So I'm just going to put a plane inside so we can see that there is some sort of ground. And then if I rotate my camera, you know, you could see that there's a sky dome. So I'm just going to do it this way. We can set up a camera. I'm just going to hold down Control-C, and it just puts a physical camera in. And in that way we can get back to this view when we want to. So with your sky now on the inside, your material on the inside, we're going to go into our material editor. And I'm just going to grab a standard material. We're not going to go into Arnold for this. And then from our diffuse, I'm going to pull out and do we're going to do a gradient. We can do a gradient ramp or a gradient. The gradient's going to give you 3 shades. Gradient ramp, you can put in whatever colors you want, so it's up to you. And I'm just going to put in some simple sky colors. So let's go and do a lighter blue. And then maybe a little hint of yellow at the horizon line. And we're just going to apply this to the object and then make it visible in the viewport. Now we pull over, we can see that we're seeing some part of the sky. We might need to go out of the camera and rotate this. And if you have the gradient ramp instead of the gradient, it's much easier to do. So we can pick the gradient type. Linear works. And the one thing we do want to do with this is make it self-illuminated. So if we turn this up, now we're going to get brightness from this, and it will contribute to the scene's brightness. And that's really how you make a default sky dome. So, like I said, you can go in and you can use come out and just do our general. Pick a gradient ramp, and then you can add in whatever colors you want and add more or less tabs. And if you get too many, you can just delete these out. So I'm going to go to pale yellow. This one a little darker. And just make sure that is visible in the viewport. And then I would need to manipulate this so I can offset the material. Return to environment. Let me just leave it as texture. But I can offset the material and rotate it around. You can roll it the way you want. Or we can just rotate the dome itself. So in this case, the dome might be the easiest way. Just going to go out of our physical sky into our perspective view. And then we can rotate this. Now I'm getting way too much of the blue, so I might want to really clamp that in a lot. But again, that's your sky dome. The next thing you can do is you can make a second copy of the dome, and you can put a cloud map on that, or make a light array and put it inside. So let's rotate this. Get a better sky from this angle. I might want to turn it upside down. Alright, so if I go back out, I'm just going to create a second copy of this. I'm going to hold down Shift and just scale it in. Release. I'm going to make it a copy, and I'm just going to call this Clouds. And go back into my camera so we can see the clouds as we build them, and then make a second material for our clouds. Make a standard. Make sure our clouds is what is selected. Assign it, make it visible in the viewport. And then we're going to go into our diffuse, and we can do a gradient ramp again. With this one, we're going to make it black and make a white little center noise that we will use for clouds. And we could do more than one of these little sections. We will have to make adjustments to it, but we're going to make it turbulent and adjust the noise till we start getting this broken up look. I'm just going to bring my levels closer together. So my high I'm going to bring down, my low up. Let's just bring this down to like 0.7. And you're just trying to get shapes that work for the clouds. I'm just going to duplicate this into my opacity map. And we're not really seeing the brightness of this. So it's a little dark. So I may want to go in again. We can just illuminate these. I may need to clamp it in closer with our values if we're getting too much gray between. See how we're getting some gray? So 0.7, 0.4. Let's see how that looks. And they're a little, a lot of them. A little bit more than I want. But you can play with it and just get until you get a cloud cover that you enjoy. So we have lost one of my blacks here. I'm actually just bringing it over so it's in view, but I'm going to clamp it down. And that's a little too much. But I want the white right next to the black. Now, because I'm playing with this, I would need to go back and adjust my cloud. That's what you do. And just play with it until you get something that you like. That's it. That's how you make a sky dome with some clouds.